First reaction, I'm Alan. You know the score, guys. Welcome to the channel. Wishbone Ash, the Pilgrim. Let's get into it. So we're about to go, and I'll pull that back. So Black Marbles 1047, audience member, contributor, thank you very much. You said I should absolutely go and have a listen to this. So I am, and I want to share that listen of the 1971 album. This is off their official channel, second track on the album. I've done a little digging around. But Martin Turner had said when he wrote this, when this was put together, and he used some of the basic sort of classical skills he'd been learning at the time, or he'd previously learned to put this together. It's played at a 4/7/7/4, so it's kind of hard timing. He had in mind would have been a kind of a grand sort of his version of the Lord of the Rings, and he said later that probably the rest of the band weren't thinking that because he was the only one reading it. So when I read that and I did a little digging around, I'm listening, I'm thinking, oh, okay, it's a pilgrimage, you would see that. And one of the great pilgrimages in literature, you know, Frodo, Bilbo first, obviously, but it's just that. You can feel it, you know. If you had a movie where a knight was going out on an adventure, you'd see that opening, you'd see the knight sitting in his room, and the sort of memories of his life being portrayed on the screen, his memories before he goes out into this life-changing adventure that could, you know, bring about his demise. And it's thoughtful, but it's not intrusive. And that beautiful bass, and he's playing over the top, it's just, you know, it's very hard in music because when you listen to songs and bands over the years, and, you know, the years that I've been fortunate to do that, sort of cognitively aware of what I'm listening to, you're probably looking at about 45 years of kind of beginning to understand what it is I'm listening to and getting some taste over that years. This is a band, Wishbone Ash, that I'm ashamed of myself for not knowing about until the last 2 years. I'd heard them, guys, obviously, and I'd probably heard them on the radio without knowing, but paid no due regard. And since you guys on the channel, and here we've got Black Marbles pointing out, and lots of other people, it's just an absolute pleasure to hear the wizardry, the talent that they had and possessed in that era. This is 71. So yeah, Lord of the Rings, I'm picturing it. And I'm also thinking about Pilgrim, how would it feel? Wow. And it's an evocation, this music evokes that feeling in me. Yes, I've got the title, so it's not hard. But let's get into it, pull it back just a touch, because it's going to go up. So if it's based on opera, this was the opening. Yeah, classical, not opera, classical. So it's like he's opening up, and then he's going to introduce a new phase and layer it in. You know, I think of Tool when they've got such complex timings, and they're brilliant, obviously, Tool. But it's derivative of progressive, progressive's derivative of classical, and classical, you know, it's just, but it just reminds me that these musicians, when they're thinking, when they're playing, like Martin Turner is playing over the top of, like, it almost sounds like jazz hi-hat drums there, you know, it's just, oh. It's such a pleasure. It's like I just want to turn this off and enjoy it all to myself without sharing it with you guys. Does that make sense? Do you guys remember a lot of the adverts in that era had the music, this stole it obviously from the musical sort of scene at the time. You know, you'd get the cigarette adverts or whatever, the airline adverts, and it would just be an excerpt of music with a chant. Well, that's clearly a lift. And I'm trying to remember that, you know, there was some big adverts, guys. You know, you used to go to the cinema on a Saturday morning and see some adverts, and that's what you'd hear is this music and chanting in the magical scenes of whatever it is they were trying to sell you. But this is selling me The Pilgrim in The Pilgrimage, the album. And when you think of Lord of the Rings, you got to let me know, guys, which scene is this? Or which pilgrimage in your mind are you seeing? Where does this take you? Or do you just not care? It's great music. It's great overlay. It just doesn't matter. It's an opus. It's brilliant in its own right. You don't have to think about anything other than if you're a musician and you've got the skills, you just enjoy that. You like the construction, the mathematics of it all. Or is it analogous to something that you can picture? Yeah, great. You know, when I did a reaction to sort of Riviera, Stevie Ray Vaughan, and I was talking about that was purely a musical song. And sometimes I struggle with them guys because, like, I have the emotionals, but I don't have the. I'm not a musician in that sense. In the strictest sense, I can play a little bit. I can hear a timing to a degree. But when I listened to Stevie Ray Vaughan, I struggled with that, and it was about the emotion of where I thought it was going. That Riviera, the sort of the jazz scene from the 60s and 50s, and the movie that I could, you know, talented Mr. Ripley, and all those little things. And here, Martin Turner's given me a benchmark with The Lord of the Rings, but I'm not there. I'm just seeing this adventure you can go out on. You can be the pilgrim in your own pilgrimage, and whatever you're in front of you, you're gonna meet it head on. There's no frenzy in this. There's a little bit of urgency, but not supreme. It doesn't overtake. The tempo doesn't go up. You get a little bit of solo in, but it's just right. It's just the urgency of being a pilgrim in your pilgrimage. Yep, and Lord of the Rings is apt, but I don't think it swamps me. Yeah. Oh, a little bit of danger there. Oh, what have we encountered here? There's a change in tone. Oh, jazzy. Fourth act. that conclusion, the journey's end, or was it just a pause on the journey? Second track on the album, guys, so I'm going to have to go through the album with you all. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to share it all. I just love it. I love the fact that I can make it as I choose, and you guys can choose to agree with me and just listen to me, hopefully try to talk positively, which I am about this. It's absolutely stunning. Loved it. Wishbone Ash, the Pilgrim from the Pilgrimage. Comment. I really would appreciate people subscribed if you've liked it, if you've been to the channel more than once. If you're an audience member, contributing, let me know where to go next. Particular favourite songs, adjacent bands I don't know yet that you can't find on the channel. I love it all. Till next time, guys. Take care.